Good day. Everything is done to the sound of the air conditioner these days. We're back into the 100+ degrees every day. Oh well, it's summer, at least here in the north, and it'll soon pass. Okay, I recently spoke on free will, and this one's on time. This is from 7/9, the second one of that day, and it was one of my 2 special days. It's 8 Eagle. Supposedly I was born on Eagle, but Eagle and Jaguar are my days. So let's see what's here. Have you ever sat still and just contemplated time? Do you let time show you its many ins and outs? Time is unending amazement, at least from here in 3D. In higher dimensions, time isn't anything at all like it is here. Do you know that yet? If not, I prescribe for that lack a video or 2 so that you may get the sense of it. And do be in heart when you listen. It requires your assent, your participation. Remember, awakening is very much a do-it-yourself experience. Someone else's awakening won't awaken you, though it may assist. Right from the get-go, let's look at a very big thing, karma. Do you realize that how much our understanding of karma incorporates time? Without time, no such thing as karma can even exist. How can it if all is just now? The whole concept of karma is quite based upon time. Karma, it may turn out, is really just a story, a fake cosmic law we invented to help us understand or explore life. Now be open now. No need to accept or reject. That's judgment. Just perceive. Turn away from the judgmental mind and stick with heart. Let go of all concepts. Just let them float by. If they come knocking, don't answer the door. It's easy enough. When you're in heart, it's quite all right to let the mind just take care of itself. It doesn't need you, whatever else you may think. And you are not mind, so don't think that you can't go and leave it behind. I assure you, you can. Stick with heart. Now, back to time. There is such a thing as time, unlike some of the other concepts we hold. It's just not at all what we think it is. Any concept at all that contains built-in limitations of any kind isn't real, can't be real. We are not limited. The whole visible world, to the contrary, matters not at all. It isn't real either. So just let it go for now, empty out, or rather go within and find that spot that is empty in there. Occupy. Could you part with the concept of karma, with the belief in that? How wedded are you to that idea? Do what you can to detach from it. At least put it in question, if not out on its ear. That's for later, perhaps. For now, just be open. Openness rocks. In it, you'll find a favorite way of mine that I call flexible perspective, for lack of a better phrase. It'll do. Words communicate. And if they don't, discard them. If I could give you my understanding by grunts and songs, I'd do that. To communicate is the point. Well, maybe not exactly. I guess communication is the medium used to share the point. Now, how are you doing at letting karma go? Do you find it sticky and hard to turn loose? If so, then you've got a belief structure going there that contains both karma and other beliefs. That's the way we construct our belief structures. And with belief structures, we create our experience of reality, otherwise known as our life. Time, as viewed from 3D, is quite linear, having only one vector, past to present to future, none of whom ever merge. In between those three is what we call waiting. Some call it living. Others don't know, being rather lost in the midst of it. This often happens when we hold a belief in past and in future. That's a sticky one, that belief. It creates all sorts of other structures and understandings. I bet you think you were born. Have you ever questioned that? It's a good question to get us down to the basics, and quickly. The basics of your beliefs. Were you ever born? Really? Are you sure? Come on now. I'd say to really think about it, but that would be counterproductive. So instead, I'll just say ponder it, meaning be with it quietly in heart. Go there now, please. Find your center, however you do that. Sink down into your middle and out of your head. Okay, you there yet? I feel some of you. Now, just be. This isn't a quiz on which you'll be graded. We threw out the grade books long ago. No judgment here, so be at peace. Now, were you born or was your body born? It's a simple, basic understanding on which endless, faulty belief structures are built. You see, if we go wrong at this early juncture of things, it's rather hard to go right anywhere subsequent to it. This is to step off the path of truth. It's done so innocently. It's very slick, actually, the design behind getting mankind to adopt such faulty beliefs. If you can just get him to make a false turn very early along in his reasoning, all the rest of his reasoning could be perfect, and it wouldn't matter a bit. Are you seeing this? It's only apparent to heart, so be sure to be inside with it. Just settle down and perch. When mind pipes up, don't be distressed. Just look away. It's really that easy. When you're in heart, that is. Obviously, when you're in mind, it doesn't work. That's apparent even to a child, but not to the one locked in the mind view. Hey, this is fun. Have you noticed it? Fun is another hallmark of heart. When you're in heart, you'll just find yourself having fun. I won't say very often or all the time, because that's to bring in the artificial sense of time. In heart, it's just is, and isness, and ising. Have you noticed yet? It's there to be seen and experienced. Just let mind go, that's all. Mind doesn't get into this stuff, not its cup of tea. There is nothing you have to tend to right now, only this. So be here. Just keep letting go, knowing it's easy to do. Nothing is hard here. It's all easy enjoyment. Well, pretty much. Heart isn't blind. It can also feel pain, but we'll leave that aside for now. There's no pain in this particular experience of banishing old concepts of time. Effortlessness. Now, how do you do that? Would you be willing to believe me if I told you all you need to do is see through them, the old concepts? Once you see into something, once you take a deep look, or any look with heart vision, you've empowered truth. It's quite possible to see through things. Did you know? And if you did you have any idea how powerful such vision is? I don't have words for this power inherent in heart vision, inner vision, deep seeing, whatever we call it. This vision is empowered that way, largely due to the absence of mind in it, so it seems to me. Some things mind helps, and for some it's simply necessary, but not for heart vision. Now that you're more settled down within, at least I hope you are, I ask you again, were you ever born? Feel into yourself. Don't be so quick to give me a birth date and time. Let that go. It's just mind chiming in. I know that some of you are way ahead of me here, and I hope in your compassion you have mercy on those for whom this pace is most helpful, this stepping slowly into and through it. Yes, you know you're not born, now or ever, that it's not even possible. As an eternal source beam, an aspect of the divine, you just are, have always been, will always be. Now, yes, those are awkward ways to put it, but we're all making this transition together, out of time and up in frequency. Eternity as a concept is probably just an attempt to help people let go of the concept of time by using time to illustrate. Very strange. Do you realize that you experience your life the way you do because of your beliefs? Has your inner or higher self shown you this? If not, it will. It's there for the asking. Let's remember, friends, that we all have the gift of free will. We get to make choices, and choices we don't make represent things that don't happen for us, generally. Do you realize that along with karma, patience is a word that has to go out the door along with the concept of time? How can there be patience or a need for patience when there is only now? It doesn't make sense, does it? Not to heart. So don't think that Source is patient. That's just a projection we're placing on Source. No such thing. Many such concepts have crept into our belief structure when we weren't looking. For the most part, they seem to be attempts to come to a mental understanding of life. Mind wants to know things, to understand. Now, that's something else I'd like you to surrender, the desire to know. You can pick it back up in a few moments, but for now, just turn that one loose. It won't help you here. It'll just get in your way. Why not, some say? It is contrary to what you'll find when in heart. It's a whole line of reasoning that just doesn't make sense in here. Just let it go. Don't insist on knowing the why of things, on understanding. That doesn't matter at all now. And though I know my saying so doesn't make it so for you, you can at least set the intent to go along with it for now. So let the need to understand go. Just drop it. And just trust me when I say that it's in your way. It's self-defeating. Turn it loose. Don't question. Just let it go. It is good to accept the reality that 99% of what we currently believe is not true. It may be 100%, but we'll give self the benefit of the doubt here. Isn't it a blessing that beliefs are not necessary to life? Else we'd surely vanish if they were. Life just is, and it does not care one whit about your beliefs, nor does Source. Free will means your beliefs are yours to choose and to live with. Source isn't worried about anything, you see. Knowing that all is not just fine, but perfect, Source rests, content in the perpetual now. Source knows we're fine, no matter what we may think. So does Heart. You'll find that you have all of these knowings right within. Remember, the kingdom is within, and that's no joke, not even a metaphor. This life we live now is more a metaphor than anything that's real. It's a reflection, reflecting self back to self. Not for any particular reason either, but just because. One of those isness things, just life as it is. And that's enough. It's enough for Source. Is it enough for you? Yet? One day it is, but have you gotten there yet? Have you tasted of that particular draft? Are you aware of the satisfactoriness of life in the now? Of life and of now? If that's a hidden land which you've yet to discover, then congratulations, for you've got such pure joy ahead of you, awaiting your discovery. Be in Heart. Know that underlying creation, or all that is, or the more scientific bent, is a strange contentment. It's really there, present, everywhere and every when. It's not really strange either. Only when viewed through the 3D lens does it seem at all strange. The mind questions and challenges contentment and everything else, as if that was its only reason for being. Contentment is not generally what we find when pursuing with mind. Since anything is possible, I don't close the door on it, only it's not very likely to find a satisfied mind. Yet, Heart lives there all the time. It's a choice you can make, where you'll abide. Actually, you make it every moment of the day, mostly unaware. By turning our focus within, we're much more likely to find. Heart is Source, or point of peace and contentment. It's accessible to all. What prevents you from finding this? Did you give it any time? Our foolish notions around time cause us to miss so very much. There it all is, right in front of us, even under our nose. But do we see? Not very likely, though becoming more and more likely as time moves on. I find that rather funny, that time can make a difference in anything. It doesn't really, not for anything that's real. Could it be that everything is so variable here because it's so unreal? There are so many perspectives one can take. It's amazing. Every one of them different, too, surprisingly so. We're so full of foolish assumptions, and we don't know it. Oh, how laughable. I hope you can laugh anyway. If not, you're taking yourself or life much too seriously. Lighten up. You're meant to have a good time. You can, you know. Nothing is stopping you, not even life. Remember, most of what you think about life just isn't so. Now, mind takes offense to this, but you needn't do so. You can let mind do what it will, and yet go your own way. Yes, you and mind can diverge. Just imagine that. That is, unless you are identified with the mind, unless you think you are mind. In that case, you'll be stuck until you shift or change your belief. You're not even real. Not in the way you take yourself to be. None of us are. That will be proved up shortly, for in the upcoming time, the golden age now dawning, all that is false will be passing away, to be no more. Look around, it's happening now. All that is error is in process of melting, like the wicked witch of the west into a puddle it goes. Only it's not really dying. You know why not? Because it never did live. It wasn't real to begin with, so how can it die? I'd call it enlightened self-interest, to make yourself familiar with the very deepest sense of reality you can find. Even now, we're in a sorting out phase. The Kali Yuga grinds to an end, and things lighten up all around. By casting off all unreality, everyone's load is lightened considerably. Some have almost nothing left. Nothing they recognize anyway. Give them time. They'll come around. Or they won't. It's very much a thing of free will. There's no forcing here. Now, I can't say I have a totally deep understanding of time. Maybe a deeper one than many, but that's not so much. Don't think I know it all. That would be a mistake. Trust your own heart and trust Source or God above me and everything else. Let's not give our power away anymore in the ways in which we've been trained, programmed more like. When we trust anything at all external to self, this is to give away our power to that, what or whoever it is. You have heart. This is to say, you have the ultimate reality accessible to you right there through your chest area. It's not something in 3D though, so don't look for chakras or organs or anything like that. Just place your focus, your ray of attention there, and see what comes up for you. You'll shortly see what is meant if you give it a chance and keep away from the mind. Do what you can to accept either the reality or at least the possibility that what you believe about life, about things, about anything isn't necessarily how it is. Another word for this is openness. If you're closed, then literally no one can help you, not even Buddha or Jesus Christ. No one will force you into this against your will. Well, there may be one seeming exception to this. That would be your own higher self. It all depends on how you define your I. Either you realize that we all call ourselves by the same name, I, and that it represents our oneness, or you don't. We are not separate. Yet most of us are under the delusion that we are. And that's why we behave as we do. We're not accountable, so we do unaccountable things. Now, don't waste any time feeling sorry for yourself or anyone else. It's all nonsense, piled upon nonsense that we're believing. We've got to get a bit tough with the self, for the time of the sorting out is here. That time is now. Either we reckon with these things or have it done for ourselves with the flow. And it may happen that way. that the flow brings to us the eventual recognition that we built our life on nonsensical beliefs, dreams really. This is generally not the preferred way, though it's quite acceptable, as anything is. Relax. Yet this way brings a great deal of pain with it. So very great that you'll really think you are dying at times. This is no joke. The pain is very real in our experience of it. It is the pain of death, of an unwilling death, strongly resisted. I'd like us all to be spared such a thing. What this amounts to is unnecessary suffering. What we don't see is that it's brought on by the self, by our stubborn clinging to false beliefs. They're just as easy to let go of, but the sticking point for most, where they get stuck, is that to release something, you first have to see it. Now, what can you see of your beliefs? Are you aware that the huge bulk of them are stored in the unconscious mind, out of reach of your conscious awareness? What shall you do to get in there and see them so you can make some changes? Shall you find some way to dive down into the subconscious? I suppose you could, but it's not something I've done. Don't know how. Instead, what I've done is to adopt new and carefully chosen beliefs. Then I just watch carefully. It never fails that many of those old beliefs will come running up to the surface to have their say, to try to kick the new belief out of their way. Now, while that may be uncomfortable, having all those jangling, clashing beliefs arguing amongst themselves, yet it's a golden opportunity too. This is our optimum chance to see. Just that. Only by seeing can we be freed. We don't handle that which we don't see, because we can't. How can you deal with the unseen while still in 3D? You can't, not successfully. You must know something exists before you can address it and deal with it. That's very basic, but you'd be surprised how many of us miss it, this one simple thing. So, greet the cacophony of clashing beliefs like a most welcome guest. Have them sign in the guest register. Take down their names so they make themselves known. As you remain observant through this noise, it won't be long before you're escorting certain beliefs, along with their friends and children at times, out the back door. You'll give them the invitation to never return. Wish them well on their way out. Remember, they served you well. They were there either by your choice or by your programming in the sleeping state. One way or another, they were invited, and they did their job, or you wouldn't be inviting them to now go. Their work with you is complete. Be at peace with this, always and ever at peace. This peace is a very real attribute of heart and of source. It's accessible to you, not just now, but always. Again, it's a matter of choice. What do you choose? What would you choose if you knew this divine peace was always available, always standing by for you? You'd choose differently, wouldn't you? Sure, you're not dumb. Anyway, it's the seeing that counts here. We can't know something we haven't seen. If we don't know it exists, how can we come to know it? It's bizarre. Vision is just that primary to you. Yet, did you even know this? So much has been hidden away and kept from us, but not anymore. No, this new age is ours to do with as we will. Only this time we'll be making conscious choices based on real seeing and on seeing what is real. We'll leave the insanity behind that is called society today. All these people behaving in totally insane ways, yet believing they're really quite sane. It's bizarre. They've even been taught to point to the truly sane ones and call them insane. That's how deep the poison of unreality has penetrated. But that's okay. Why is it okay? Simply because it is. We must at once cease fighting with that which is. Now, let go. Some of you are in mind and arguing with that. For the moment, let that go. Just for the moment, be in heart. No need to understand, just be. Just be. It's a new way of being. Figure it out later. Cease fighting with that which is. It did nothing wrong to just be what it is. It deserves no blame nor even censure. Just let that go. See the resistance you offer to life at all times. Start noticing that. No more. Just observe. We all have fertile ground where this resistance has grown, been fed, and multiplied. Time is now to first see and then just let it go. Sure, today's world is thoroughly insane. There's no doubt. When you judge a tree by its fruits, anyone can see by the fruits of our way of life that it's quite insane. I won't name the crazy things for you. You're not totally blind. You can see this world of inequities and cruelties where hardly any integrity is to be found, the fruit of our current understandings. Now, when I say hardly any integrity is to be found, that's largely in the structure of things. In the little people around the world, there's plenty of integrity. Yet, even though it's insane, let's not have any judgment, any hard feelings about that. You're dabbling in time to do that, time that's unreal. No casting blame or pointing accusatory fingers around. That helps none and harms the whole. Instead, we just admit that that's what is and merely allow it to be. We don't resist, and we let it go without questioning. Now is the time to take joy in the chaos you find within self. That's an option. If we will but greet our arguing beliefs with mere acceptance, not resisting them either, we'll be in the best shape of all. As we stay in heart, we stay in peace. And we're in the best position to discern which beliefs are first to go. And then we escort them out, sweeping up after them. We're that much better off. Soon, oh soon, you'll be able to feel the benefit of this way of greeting life. As you keep attention focused inward, you'll be better at observing. You'll begin to note things that got a free pass before when you were distracted by the hamster wheeling mind. Now your trained eye will notice more often the source of what brings you pain, not just the pain. It's in the noticing itself that your freedom lies. Just keep noticing. Seriously, just look. Much of what you see will simply vanish on first being spotted. Unreality cannot stand the gaze of one who is truly present. It cannot maintain its disguise as something that's real under that gaze. And soon you will feel your load begin to lighten as the old beliefs go. Sometimes the relief will be so deep, you'll even feel it physically. Your body will relax, the muscles letting go of the tension they held, unknown to you. The deeper part of you knows what is false, what is true, and it doesn't willingly maintain the false, not without tension anyway. Some call it anxiety, but there's no need for such labels. They get in the way. Okay, I call time. This is now officially the longest journal I've written, at least since beginning to upload them online. At 8 pages typed, it's long enough. I hope there's been at least something in it for you. If you go away with no more than a renewed realization that your self-definition is not something esoteric or woo-woo, then you go away blessed. There is no more important question than, who am I? There's much else here for you too, but do remember that this and everything else hinges not on who you are, but on how you define who you are. All the further work that you do past that definition may have to be scrapped. And when would that be? When you shift or change your self-definition, everything that you had built upon it will have to go. It will now be invalid. Do see that. It's a most valuable gift. It'll stop you in your tracks. You can actually ignore all the rest of the journal if you just digest that part. As you go through life being self-observant, you'll find that literally everything in your reality, in your experience of life, has its foundation in your self-definition. Who do you say you are? Are you sure? Were you ever born? Find your way into heart if you want to be sure. Peace and contentment await you there. Namaste. Now I realize this is, I just called it pondering time. It takes off in other directions. I realize I haven't had a huge say-so on time, but you know, a lot of the pondering that we do, my friends, is just hamster wheeling. Educated hamster wheeling. I hope you can see that. Good day.